Welcome to the Virtual Ball Boys podcast. My name is Chris, and I am joined once again by my poor friend, Matt.
And so Icarus said to his father Daedalus, if the Jets beat the Titans, I will do the next podcast in wet socks. And here we are.
Alright, so let's talk about what's happening here for a second. Alright, I have to turn down my phone here. It's probably got a little bit of like echo that might happen here, because for some reason iPhones don't allow me to turn down my volume all the way on these calls.
Yep, me neither.
Alright, that's fine. So we'll have some weird echo thing going on here. But he is FaceTiming me, so I'm gonna watch him put on the wet socks. Can I see the wet socks by any chance?
Yes, they are right there in that bowl.
Okay. Ooh. Wow, those are moist. Okay.
You can try to set this camera so you can see them. You can narrate what's going on, because I'm going to be a little bit away from my microphone.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Do what you gotta do.
All right, here we go.
All right. So he is, it's in a bucket. He has a towel down, and he is now taking those socks. Oh, that is dripping.
I'm not gonna. I shouldn't rain it out, right?
Maybe, but do what you think is best. You know, this is your punishment.
Oh God.
Okay, it's almost all right. So it's halfway on. This
is the hard part.
Yeah, that's the thing. Man. Like, you don't have to get it over the heel. He's almost there. He's almost there.
Sock one is on.
Yeah. Sock one is on. I can confirm. Sock one is successfully on. Now we have to have the second sock.
Second sock. Here we go. This is horrid.
Yep. All right, the heel. It's halfway through. We're halfway through it. He almost has the heel over the gray over the heel. All right, that is done, and now he just has to.
And I do want to mention these are crew socks, so they go like over my ankles. They're like partway up my shin.
Yeah.
It is not just my feet. It is fucking full sockage right here.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop calling for right now on that side, and I now need you to describe to me how you were feeling in this moment.
Okay, so it's a little bit strange.
Okay, yeah,
because it doesn't. When I initially got it on, it didn't feel like as bad as I thought it would.
Sure, okay.
But now that it's kind of sitting here for a second, I feel much more aware of them.
There's a presence.
There's a presence, especially down at the feet. Like my ankles don't feel as bad. Like high up on the sock doesn't feel as bad. But I think as the water's starting to like drip out of the socks, it's starting to pool at the bottom.
Oh no!
Which is
so now you got like right in like in between the heel and like the toes right now is kind of like a puddle.
Yeah, no, not actually a puddle, but
okay.
It will. This is gonna be interesting to see how the rest of this podcast goes.
Yes, absolutely.
Other than that initial, oh God, like I think I'll be able to manage this.
Yes, yeah, I have faith in you. I have faith.
Okay.
I've always had faith in it. I knew that the initial process was going to be a rough one and a shocking one. You're probably going to be awake as long as you have those socks on. Welcome everyone to the Virtual Ball Boys podcast. So yes, as we have clearly shown in that cold opening of sorts, not cold opening because I did the intro, but we it was the bet heard around at least our circles,
our friend group, and people that I've told,
about
my dumb decisions.
Yeah, that if the Titans lose to the Jets won it, and we'll talk. Well, you know what? Let's just bring it to the forefront here, all right? Because we do our recap at the beginning of all these podcasts, but we're gonna bring the chaos part to the very front. The Jets hosted the Titans on Sunday, And the Titans got out to an early lead. I mean, it seemed like the Titans had a grip on what was going on, but then Zach Wilson happened, and then that Jets defense happened.
Yeah,
and of course, one thing that you mentioned to me, Matt, is that one thing you didn't know when you made the initial bet was that you did not know that Julio Jones and AJ Brown would be out for this game.
Yes, that is correct.
But you stuck through with the bet anyway, just because we kind of thought the Jets were bad, so we never didn't think they would win anyway.
And the Titans have Derek fucking Henry, and Derek fucking Henry was Derek fucking Henry. He was really, really good.
Yeah,
however, you can't just have one asset of your team and win a football game. Like you need more aspects to it, and that's what the Titans' biggest problem was that at some point you are going to need to have the defense can stop Derrick Henry.
Yeah,
and then you have no one to pass to, and then your defense is bad, so the Jets are able to pass on you, and that's kind of what happened.
Yeah, no, it was the perfect storm for the Titans in terms of just the parts that you want to work just are not going to work, with the exception of Derrick Henry, because he's just like the one constant, you know, like it's going to happen with Derrick Henry, but when you don't have the team properly around him, it's gonna stink. Not that Ryan Tannehill had like a terrible day, like he was fine, but it was the fact that he did not have people to throw to. And again, like you said, like the defense is definitely has been a weak point for the Titans, but certainly was exposed in this game. Reminded me a lot of the Jets game not last year, 2 years ago, when they faced the Cowboys. Like that game where like everyone was going into it being like, the Cowboys got this, you know, it's the Cowboys, they're gonna just steamroll them, but then the Jets ended up beating them in AT&T Stadium. Obviously, this was different. This is the Titans having to go on the road, but regardless, like what a victory for the Jets. Very nice. This was the first time, and I feel like forever, that all three New York teams won on the same day.
Wow.
It's been a while. It's
it checks out, but still, wow.
Yeah, I could be wrong. I don't know like the very specifics on that. Maybe it's only like a few years, but it has been quite some time since all three won. And speaking of all three, let's go to the blowout of the week. Texans went to Buffalo, and as we expected, the Bills embarrassed them. 40 to nothing.
Congratulations, Houston. You're the team that everyone thought you were.
40 to nothing. Their second shutout in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
The Buffalo Bills are great. They're getting there. They're finally. We were so worried after the. At least I was. I was so worried. I picked the Dolphins. But week one, like the after them getting embarrassed by the Steelers, which how the fuck did that happen? Now
it feels like so much more of a what the fuck game. The longer we get away from it.
Right. Yeah. It is wild, but. Their defense is clicking. It was a rainy day, if I remember correctly, so it wasn't necessarily going to be like this offensive juggernaut game, but they still scored 40 on the Texans. So that's what good teams do. They blow out teams that they should blow out, and the Bills are doing it. So good for them. And yes, the Texans are the Texans, what we expected from them. That division, that AFC South.
Jesus Christ, this AFC South.
Not great, but honestly,
it's gonna be the Colts or the Titans, but still, they're the AFC South of like 7 years ago.
Yeah, and it's the fact that I feel
6
like
years ago.
The Titans. I mean, we'll see with the Colts, because the Colts ultimately they did win finally this weekend. They got the Dolphins, so
yeah,
that's
but
good.
It's the Dolphins.
But I a part of me is like, man, maybe the loss to the Jets isn't the worst thing in the world compared to everything else that's happening in the division. And finally, the game of the week, the game that we have been, everyone, their mother has been waiting for forever. You know, the game that, like, I think that for all of the people who have watched the Patriots, for a while. I'm sure people longer than I have, but certainly for me, since like 2014, watching them win 3 championships, watching them always be in the Super Bowl, there's always that part of me that was like, I want Tom Brady to just fucking retire, go away. I didn't realize that there was going to be ever an opportunity that he would go to a new team. And when he did that, the one thing I wanted from him before he retired was I want him to see him play the Patriots. And so we got that. And guess what? It was actually a good game.
It was a really good game. I was telling everyone leading up to this game, I was like, oh, there's no way the Buccaneers are just going to fucking blow them out because the Patriots suck. But no. It was good.
No, Brady struggled in this game. This is not like a showcase game for Tom Brady. And it was because you had Belichick, give him credit. He had a good game plan with his defense. He has really talented guys. Matt Judon is what we thought Matt Judon would be, in terms of a free agent signing being solid. And Mac Jones played better than Brady on Sunday night, and he's just continuously showing like he's not having like these amazing games, but he's, for a rookie to be kind of as stable as he is a very, very good thing.
I agree.
And I do think the Bucs, there is going to be a little bit of worry about like, all right, can they get the running game going? They did get a little bit with Leonard Fournette, but not a ton. I don't think you have to worry about either team's defense because ultimately it was a 17-16 game. A lot of offensive drives were stopped in this game, and the doink that happened at the end of the game, I think there's a lot of conversation about like, should Belichick have kicked the field goal there, or should he have gone for the 4th and 5 or whatever the distance was? And I think realistically, yes, he probably could have gone for the 4th down, gotten a little closer, and then maybe kick a field goal that's more guaranteed to go in. But then you always run the risk of, even though Brady wasn't playing well, him coming back in the game, for a final drive. And also, like, if you get a touchdown, then that would be great. But against the way that each offense was kind of working against the defenses kept on winning the day. So, I don't hate the decision, but I get where people are like, that maybe that he probably could have done a better job coaching at that moment.
Yeah.
What was the feeling that you had watching the game? How weird it was seeing Brady compete against the Patriots?
I think it was really, really cool. Really cool feeling. Mm-hmm. It's like I used to be a Patriots fan, like in high school.
Yeah.
And then again, they just started winning all the time, and Tom Brady was a dick. A lot of things. They're just like, I don't want to root for this team anymore. But I think that just the concept of him being able to come back, and then also the prestige of, hey, Tom Brady's now beaten all 32 NFL teams. Pretty cool. Yeah.
It was fascinating.
Yeah. So I think that just worked out really well for him. I think that just the prestige and his legacy are historic. I used to like argue even like 2 years ago, like, Brady's not the best of all time. He is.
Yeah,
we just have to accept that fact.
Yeah, no, he is. I mean,
So this level of like just a historic moment was a really cool game to watch and be a part of.
Yeah, I think that the idea of the who is the greatest ever, like the fact that he is playing as long as he's won as many championships as he's had, and now he's really started to break all these big records. Like the one moment on Sunday was that he passed Drew Brees on the all-time passing yards lists. Like that's that's solidifying yourself, I think, as the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. And I think that it is amazing that we were able to see him go to a new team and still succeed at the level that he has been able to succeed at, even play better than he did like maybe like a year prior. Like 2019 Brady versus 2020 Brady is a world of difference. Yeah. And again, it wasn't his best game, but I don't think you necessarily need Tom Brady to be on all the time, because you have that talented of a team that you can kind of overcome that. So yeah, really, really fascinating game. I was hard for me to think of who I really wanted to root for in this game. I don't think I kind of went in with the rooting interest, because I'm like, I don't really want to root for the Patriots, but like at the same time, it'd be fun to see them take down Brady and in an upset. Mm-hmm. But like it was kind of like a choosing your evil that you want to root for. But
Right.
Overall, I'm pretty happy with how it ended up. It ended up being a good game, and that's always a plus on that front. Yeah. Quick wet socks check. How you feeling?
Feeling fine. They still feel about the same, although I am more aware now of just the rain on the top of the sock. It's like I wasn't aware of it, and now it's like, oh, that's where leg ends and socks begins.
I will forever know this moment, this feeling, right? This transition between leg and sock.
It is not. I'm not becoming one with the socks. I want to make that very clear.
Yeah, no.
I'm not becoming one with the socks.
No, this is not a getting used to it situation. Not one bit. All right, let us move on to one of our favorite segments that we do early on in the season. I feel we've called it like Time's Up. We've called it a few different segments, names. I'm gonna call it Game Over for this year. And Game Over is a segment where we're going to go through the teams, and we're going to bury the ones we don't think are going to make the playoffs. And we're going to keep a log of it, and we're going to see if we're right by the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
About halfway through the season, we kind of reassess things.
Yes. Yeah.
And we may resurrect some teams.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But for now, this is the first proper burial of a lot of the teams, all right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the standings on my other monitor here.
Hey, Chris, did you know the Bengals are a 2 seed right now?
Yes, you sent me that. That's wild. I mean, tiebreakers, I guess, got them there. But wow, yeah, it's 3-1. That's a juicy team right there that all of a sudden came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start from the top and work my way down.
Okay.
Just to start out, because we're going to rule out a few teams. First of all, the undefeated Arizona Cardinals, we're not going to fucking bury, obviously.
Nope. Still there.
All right. Now I'm going to read out the 3-1 teams. I don't think that either of us are going to bury them, but we're just going to go through them just to kind of make sure, get them the clearance, like that we're like the TSA line. All right. Los Angeles Chargers, Cincinnati Bengals, Dallas Cowboys, Buffalo Bills, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Green Bay Packers, Las Vegas Raiders, Los Angeles Rams, Carolina Panthers, Baltimore Ravens, Denver Broncos, and Cleveland Browns. I don't want to bury any of these teams.
Nope, they're all solid for me.
All right. Now I'm gonna go to the bottom. All right, because these are the easy ones that we can call. All right.
Yep.
How about the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Bury them. Game over. No respect. God, fuck. Urban Meyer makes me so angry.
He's made you angry for ever since he was in the Big Ten. It's
pretty much. I just like I heard this man speak once at the Illinois-Ohio State game, and he has it is amazing the presence that he had and respect that he had at Ohio State that he does not fucking have right now.
Yeah.
Because of his own actions, he deserves it. He deserves to be 0-4.
Yeah.
Fuck this team.
Yeah, this is... this can't go on much longer. It is getting so toxic. The team, you're hearing all these anonymous sources for all these reporters being like, yeah, he's lost the team. No one on this team respects him. He wanted to bring his best friend on as a tight end. Like, I mean, come on. Like, it is absurd. He hired a guy who has such a racist history, and he got to fire him 36 hours later. Like, think of all the shit that's already happened with this Jaguars team. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. They're buried. What about the Detroit Lions?
Buried.
Yeah,
they're frisky. You. They're frisky.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't trust these cats.
Yeah, I think they'll have some fun games down the stretch, but I don't think it's gonna consistently.
They don't have a ton of talent to be able to make the playoffs.
Yeah, no way. All right, now we're entering the 1 and 3 territory. We'll start with the New York Jets. Do we think after the one game we want to keep them preserved?
No, I still think they will end up buried.
I think it's okay to bury them.
Okay. Yep.
I like them, and I like them in the sense of like maybe they can cause some chaos, but I don't. Mm-hmm. They're not. Their injuries and their again, lack of talent, I think, is going to prevent them really to go far right now. What about the New York Giants?
I would also say Barry.
I would say Barry. This one's a tougher one just because if the Cowboys ended up faltering at some point, because they're on the roll, but like I feel like if we're going if the NFC East ends up defaulting back to
NFC East,
being the NFC East, right? Like I feel like okay, maybe the Giants have a shot, and if maybe this is the start, their win this past week against the Saints, maybe that could be a spark, right? But I still sit here and I'm like, the Cowboys are a more talented team. And as poor as the Washington football team has looked overall, especially their defense, I would still pick the Washington football team over the New York Giants right now. So I think the Giants are buried for me.
All right.
Next after that, the New England Patriots.
Ooh. Let me see the rest of their schedule.
Yeah, this is an interesting one.
So the Patriots get to face I'm going to do how many like tough opponents they have.
Yes.
Cowboys, Chargers, Panthers, Browns, Titans, Bills twice.
Mm-hmm.
I would suggest burying them, though it's not a hard bury for me.
Yeah. Like you kind of like leave a little hole open just in case they need to breathe.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. Because I feel like the Patriots, if they get into this rhythm, that maybe they can end up competing with. I mean, because they competed with the Buccaneers really well, and I don't know if maybe they could do the same with some of these really good teams on their schedule. You know what? Just because I feel like I'm always hesitant with burying the Patriots, so I'm going to say right now not to.
We can save them. Okay.
I think what will be good is that if they show us that they're a bad team at the, like in the midseason point or when we resurrect teams, we'll use them as a replacement team.
Yeah.
But I think for right now, I'm more comfortable with keeping them alive.
Can we move to the other AFC East team?
Sure. What is that? The Miami Dolphins?
Because I want to bury them.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Shit defense. Tua not being good, and being out for injury. Really hinders them, and it's not necessarily like Tua's fault, but I don't think that they're going to be able to be a playoff team with how bad their defense is right now, and with how Tua not playing really hinders them.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm not very confident in this team. Yeah, I think that their only win was against the Patriots. Everything else has just been like, I mean, and they played to overtime against the Raiders, but I mean, I don't know.
It's the Raiders. They're a wild team as it is.
Yeah, it's just wild. That whole experience is wild. I'm with you. I'm gonna bury the Dolphins with you. All right, the Falcons.
Bury.
Yeah, I feel good about burying this team.
That's
right
an easy
now.
one.
Because I think I don't. They had the one win against the Giants. I'm not sitting. I don't sit here and like, oh my god, I'm so impressed with like how they won that one game against the Giants team. That's kind of not great. Like
the Falcons are always going to lose more close games than they win.
Right, exactly.
Because it's the Falcons.
Yep. That's where I'm at as well. What about the Eagles?
Eagles, I think Eagles are hard. I lean Barry. But I don't. Let's see. Their losses so far have been to the Cowboys, the 49ers, and the Chiefs, all of whom are good opponents.
Yeah.
They still have to face the Buccaneers, Chargers, Saints, Broncos. They don't have like a bad schedule though.
Right.
But I think that overall, just their win total will still generally be lower, and I don't think it will be enough to eclipse the Cowboys or the NFC West for wildcard spots.
and I think, too, like, one thing that's problematic with the Eagles at the moment is that their defense is just completely injured. And when you don't have that, as a backbone, and also that you have a strong offensive line, but those offensive linemen that would make it strong are also out with injury. Like, it's kind of it's a recipe for disaster a little bit for the Eagles. I don't think this is gonna. I think they're gonna be like maybe like a 4 or 5 win team. Like I don't think it's gonna be a complete disaster. But I'm okay with burying them. Next up, the Minnesota Vikings. Where are we at with this team?
Oh, we're not burying this team.
Yeah, I feel
good about them.
I don't feel comfortable with that. I think
nope.
They've competed close with almost every single team that they've beaten, or rather lost to, and then they won. What was their one win again? I forget. Oh, that was to the Seahawks. Yeah. I mean, like I think that they have the ability to still compete in the NFL. Well, maybe their late resurrection replacement or something.
But we'll see. We'll see how they do midseason.
Yeah. All right. The Colts.
I'm gonna bury the Colts.
Ooh, wow.
Because I think that they played super well against the. They played super well against the Dolphins. I don't know. This might be spicy.
Here's where I'm at, because the next one, because we can combine this with the Texans conversation too, because that's next up.
Well, the Texans I'm burying.
So here's the thing: if we bury all 3 of those AFC South teams, we're basically declaring the Titans as the division winner.
True. All right, I'm fine burying the Texans, keeping the Colts alive for now.
Okay, yeah, I think it's a fair assessment, just because I think that maybe if this last win was a spark for the Colts, and maybe we just play it safe without having to bury that team. Yeah. And the last 1 and 3 team on this list, Pittsburgh Steelers.
I'm gonna bury them.
I think that the Steelers have a history of being like not good, and then all of a sudden having like this spark that all of a sudden they go on. Like they have they go on trends. Like they
like
where
last
they
year's
have
11-0.
Yeah, when they went 11-0 last year, and then they just flatlined the rest of the way. I could see it where they do really poorly at the beginning here, that they lose a few more games in this stretch, and then all of a sudden really, really pick it up near the end. I feel like that is going to be... It's going to be very interesting to see how they end up going. I am with you, though. I'm okay with burying the Steelers. Because I
do want you to look at the rest of the division.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like it's like they have 3 opponents that are going to compete with them, and like I think if they did not face the Bengals before, like I think that we would sit here and be like, oh well, they maybe could sweep the Bengals, but then they lost to the Bengals week 3.
They totally did. Yeah.
So like, and I feel like the Browns could get a win on them at least, and the Ravens could at least get 1 win on them, if not both. Yeah, and then they have the Chiefs they have to play. Yeah, and the Chargers. Like, it's... Yeah, no, I think the Steelers are out. I'm with you. I'll bury them.
Cool.
All right, now it's time to get spicy. All right, we got a bunch of 2-2 teams. I don't know how... We'll see how comfortable we are with burying some of these ones. All right, we'll start with the New Orleans Saints.
I can't
do it. Nope.
They're the definition of like middle of the road team. They probably won't make the playoffs, but I still don't feel comfortable burying them yet.
They're like the 2017-2018 Titans.
Yeah.
Where you kind of brought it up a while back. Or was it the Titans or the Jaguars? That it was the team that would win 1 week and lose.
That was the Jaguars.
That was the Jaguars. Okay.
Yep.
So the Jaguars, to me, like that.
And they inherited the curse because they played in Jacksonville.
Right. Exactly.
That's what I said a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Right. That's why I was trying to remember what you were saying. So I feel like if that trend continues, like this is a middle of the road team, I could see them sneaking in as a 7 seed. So I'm not going to bury them yet, but we'll see how maybe that trend kind of continues going forward. San Francisco 49ers.
No,
I can't do it either.
Nope.
Seattle Seahawks.
Nope.
No. Chiefs, forget it. I mean,
no,
we can't do that. What about the Chicago Bears?
Bury them.
Really?
I looked at the rest of the schedule. Buccaneers, Raiders, Packers, Buccaneers, 49ers, Packers again, Ravens, Cardinals, Seahawks.
Oh man. Yeah.
It is bad, dude.
Yeah, that's death's row right there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We'll bury the Chicago Bears. I was like, maybe, like, okay, maybe this was the beating up on a bad Lions team. Maybe could be the spark that this team needs, but I
don't trust it. I don't trust it.
I don't trust Nagy. You know, like,
no,
so
Nagy.
It's like,
he's not going to get fired until the end of the season because the McCaskies don't generally do that.
Right.
But it is like, we need a restart it next year. Try something different. This failed.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I'm going to bury the Bears as well. But wow, I was not expecting to do that. All right, cool. The last two here, the Washington football team.
Do not bury.
Yeah, they're a little spunky.
They're in the same realm as the Saints for me.
Yeah, and I think that if that talent finally pulls through on defense, if they finally do pull it together on defense, that they could be a really tough team to put out. So
yeah,
I'm okay with keeping Washington alive. Because otherwise that would mean that we declare the Dallas Cowboys a champion. And while that probably will happen,
right?
Yeah, we want to keep a little bit of pressure on the Cowboys. And then the Tennessee Titans.
Keep them alive.
Keep them alive. They just had a bad week, and they're just little. They need to get healthy. And then things will be okay.
Yep.
All right. You want to have some Death March music humming in the background here, Matt?
Sure.
While I read this. It is game over for the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Detroit Lions, the New York Jets, the New York Giants, the Miami Dolphins, the Atlanta Falcons, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Houston Texans, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Chicago Bears.
Got a little Game of Thronesy.
Yeah, I like it. Were you just riffing, or were you pulling?
Yeah, total riffing.
That was good. That was really good. I felt that. All right. We are going to pick our games next, but before we do, how about a word from our sponsors? It has been 2 years since we started Team Chaos Productions, and we would not be where we are today without the help of Anchor. You've heard us talk about it all the time, but let me remind you, this completely free platform gives creators the tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast from your computer or phone. Once done, Anchor will distribute your podcast to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more so you don't have to. You can also make some money on the episodes with no minimum listenership. It's everything you'd ever want in a podcasting platform, so download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Happy podcasting.
This is Kelsey from Team Chaos Productions, offering you 30 seconds of calm. Sick of talking about video games with people who just want to be toxic? Then welcome to the Gaming Coop. We come together each month to talk about what we love about video games. Discussion topics range from our favorite soundtracks to the best relationships between characters. We also have some fun segments in the middle that range from simple trivia to building our school of gaming. Find us on Anchor or wherever you listen to podcasts. Game on! This has been your 30 seconds of calm.
All right, we're back, and
hello.
One last sock check before we go into the segment.
My stomach feels weird, but I don't think that's because of the socks.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let us know. Let me know if you...
honestly feels like about the same as it did when you asked me last time.
Okay, all right.
It's just I feel wet sock all around me.
This is all around, but the presence is there. It is still not waiting. Okay.
Yep.
All right, just making sure. All right.
They have not dried. I'm gonna touch the bottom of my feet that are touching the towel. They're still pretty wet.
Okay, I see. All right. Week 4 records. How did we do? So you went 9-7.
Sure did.
You didn't get your chaos, but you got your guarantee. Is that correct?
Yep.
All right. So you got 2 points. I went 8-8, lost both my guarantee and team chaos, and I lost a point. So, as things stand, Matt, you are sitting at 40-24. Is that correct? and you have 15 points.
Correct. Now. We are one and the same.
Yeah. And for me, I am 36-28 with only 6 points. But still close. We're still early on. Anything can happen.
Indeed.
All right. How about you start us off with Week 5?
All right. Our Thursday Night Football has the Los Angeles Rams taking on the Seattle Seahawks. Rams off the first loss of their season. Seattle prevented themselves from losing 3 in a row, which they have never done with Russell Wilson. How's this matchup looking for you, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, they definitely, the Seahawks saved themselves a bit of trouble by winning on Sunday. I think this is one of those games where it's like, you look at the matchup and you recognize it as being always one-sided. And I feel like the Rams have always had their number on the Seahawks, and especially in Seattle, which is the weird part. Like, I always just picture the Rams beating them in Seattle. And it's because of that I'm going to pick the Rams. I feel good about that.
Yeah, I feel good about the Rams, too. I don't trust the Seahawks defense that much.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, I don't know if I trusted the Cardinals defense that much last week, but I still think that the Rams, this is a good bounce back potential for the Rams, so I'm going to go with them as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think that was just a juggernaut game that anything could happen, and they got beat up, but yeah, I think they recovered.
Yep.
Next up, we fly to London. We're back in London, folks.
That's right. So I forgot that there were London games this season. So I saw the ad for that. I was like, what?
Wait, why are the New York Jets in London? What?
Yeah.
It is the New York Jets at Atlanta Falcons. Oh, these poor Londoners. The Jets, of course, coming off of their big win against the Titans. The Falcons, coming off of the brutal loss to the Washington Football Team. That was almost a game of the week candidate. What do you think's going to happen here, Matt?
I do feel better about Atlanta winning, in a sense of Atlanta has played a lot closer games than the Jets have, and the Jets really only won because of lack of people on the Titans.
Sure.
So I'm gonna stick with the Falcons for this game.
I don't know, man. I guess because I'm riding the high, and I want to thank the Jets for giving us this podcast. I'm gonna pick the Jets.
There you go.
Just to see, let's see if Zach Wilson can keep it up. That's what I'm curious about. See if this defense can keep it up, because I think if you're able to kind of slow down Derrick Henry and stop the offense for the Titans last week, I think you could probably do the same with the Falcons teams. I'm leaning towards the Jets.
I don't know what I'm gonna do if this isn't a hard Falcons pick for me. I'm saying that this time.
Sure. But
if the Jets win 2 in a row after I say, "Oh, I'll wear wet socks" if they don't fucking win this game.
That's what would add to the lore of it all. The Jets are going on a Super Bowl run because of you. I think it's a close game. I think anything could happen. It's London too, so everyone's gonna be fucking tired when they hit the field. So we'll see. But I'll lead towards the J man.
All right. Next up, we have the Green Bay Packers taking on the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati. Green Bay has kind of been unstoppable lately, but the Bengals haven't been slouches. What do you think is going to happen in this matchup?
So, I do want to clarify something that happened last week when we talked about the Lions pick, and we're like, it is a close margin where we're talking like Team Chaos and stuff. There's a few factors that I play with Team Chaos. The records come into play. The spreads do come into play. I think 3 or more is think a good spread mark.
Okay.
And then circumstance. What is the circumstance? What is the situation with these two teams? How do we know these two teams? And I look at the Packers and the Bengals, and they do have the same record, but they got here in very different ways. The Packers. Correct. They ended up going on a 3-game winning streak. They look like a dominant team that no one's going to stop now. Where the Bengals, they're playing pretty well, but they're playing against poor teams, and they're kind of like one of those we're happy to see you 3-1. We're happy to see you as the second seed, but we don't completely trust you yet. But I think that changes here. I'm Team Chaosing the Cincinnati Bengals.
Hey Chris, guess what?
Are you with me?
I'm with you.
Yes!
Team Chaos the Bengals.
Yes! I was hoping that was going to happen, because I was like, if there's any team, any opportunity that we could have Team Chaos against the Packers, I know that Matt's going to take.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I don't know why. I feel like it's going to be at home. I just feel like Joe Burrow is going to have a fucking day. Like, I don't know. There's just something about it. The vibes about it. So, we're dual Team Chaos again. Let's go,
Team
Bengals.
Chaos. Very excited. Let's go. And I get this game. The Bears game is later. I just checked. I get to watch this one.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
So I'll either be really happy or I'll just be watching the Packers win again.
Yeah. That's the expected thing. Let's look forward to the chaos. Next up, the Detroit Lions at the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings coming off a tough loss against the Browns. It was a historically bad offensive performance, which is a reminder. I think what's happening is that the Bears and Vikings should not be embarrassed. I think the Browns defense is just getting that good. Like, I think, I think it's reaching some nice levels right now. And of course, the Lions coming off of the loss against the Bears. What do you think is going to happen?
I think that the Vikings will take this handily. Like we said the Vikings were a really good team. I still believe that. I think the Vikings are going to have a good day.
I think so too. Like I said, I think that they just had a tougher defensive opponent with the Browns. That's why they could not really get a lot of points on the board. The Lions, I wanted to have faith in them, their frisky nature, that they would finally overcome it. I don't think it's going to be this week. I'm going to go Vikings.
All right. Next up, we have the Denver Broncos, potentially with or without Teddy Bridgewater, taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers, who, that Big Ben is not good at football.
Yeah.
What do you think for this matchup?
I think the Broncos. It was not a great game for them. On Sunday, I had a lot more faith in them to beat the Ravens.
To be fair, Bridgewater went out with a concussion, and that could change things.
Right, and then Drew Lock came in and was not good. I don't know what the situation is this week. I don't know if Bridgewater is expected to come back. Hopefully he will. I still think, even with Drew Lock, the way that the Steelers have been playing and their decision making, where they cannot for the life of them overcome a fourth down. It is just pathetic what's going on with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going to go with the Broncos here. I was thinking about guaranteeing it, but I don't love the record disparity here, despite the spread being very close. But I won't judge anyone for guaranteeing it.
Okay, so I was actually going to put a conditional guarantee on this.
Okay. Sure. All right.
If you will allow me.
Sure. Oh, so okay, go ahead.
The condition. So I'm picking the Broncos no matter what.
Yeah.
I'll put that out there.
Yeah.
If Bridgewater plays, which he might, he still has a chance to play. If he plays, I will use my guarantee on the Broncos.
Okay.
If he does not, I have a backup guarantee.
Okay, and will you state that once we get to that?
I will state it once we get to it, yes.
Okay, so I'm going to do guarantee with an asterisk over it. So if Bridgewater starts, it's the Broncos guarantee, but if it's not, we'll get to the one that is your actual guarantee. All right.
Correct.
Cool. All right. Cool. And so then with that being said, we move on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hosting the Miami Dolphins. Buccaneers, close one against the Patriots, but they pulled it out. Now they go to a Dolphins team that might have Tua. I don't think we'll have Tua. Maybe it probably won't, because I think he's on IR. But yeah, what do you think's gonna happen here?
God, I can't wait for the year where it perfectly works out that all three Florida teams can play each other.
Could that happen?
It can, because how the extra game that got added was an other conference game from a different conference.
I see.
So it'd be the Dolphins and it's likely that the Dolphins and Jaguars play each other just because they're both in the AFC, but the Buccaneers need to face the AFC South and just have the Dolphins be their one team.
Right.
For the other thing. So it's possible. It's going to be very rare, but I want a three-way Florida battle to happen. And I used up all that time because this pick is so obvious. It's the Buccaneers.
Yeah, it's the Buccaneers. I like it. Yeah.
Next up, the New Orleans Saints take on the Washington football team. Both played close games, both teams are 2-2, and I feel like both teams they feel almost identical to me in terms of the type of team that they are.
Uh-huh.
This is a coin flip, in my opinion. What do you think?
Well, guess what? I'm firmly placing my thumb on that coin to keep it on the side of the Saints. And I'm guaranteeing the Saints in this matchup. Because I'm not loving what I'm seeing from Washington. They did come back against the Falcons. I give them credit, but their defense is disappointing as fuck right now. And I think that I'm gonna subscribe to the theory that you placed in week 1, where we talked about earlier, how you said that they pulled from the Jaguars after leaving after having a home game there. I think that they're gonna win this game just based off of the patterns. So that's where I'm at.
I didn't think I was going to be right. I just want to put that out there.
But I'm subscribing to it.
And I'm going to go to the Saints as well. No guarantee or anything, but I am going to pick the Saints. Marshawn Lattimore is a really good cornerback, and I think that he's going to make Terry McLaurin a non-factor. And you'll get Curtis Samuel, but Logan Thomas is out. You really won't have much else in terms of passing game for this game. So
yeah,
I think the Saints will win because of that.
Definitely. Okay. Next up, the Philadelphia Eagles at the Carolina Panthers. Rough loss for the Panthers. Got a little humbled there, but still could be a fascinating team going up against an Eagles team that just lost against the Chiefs. What do you think's going to happen?
I think the Panthers are gonna be really good. I think that their loss to the Cowboys was expected. I think that the Cowboys are one of the best teams in the league right now. And losing to them isn't a big spot on your record.
Yeah.
At all, I don't think. So even though they were undefeated, now they're not. It's fine. They will be fine as a team, and I don't trust the Eagles' defense to do anything to the Panthers' offense.
Yeah, I don't see myself picking the Eagles in this situation. Yep. I think the Panthers' defense is too good. Yeah, they just got Stephon Gilmore.
Woo!
Yeah, he's not gonna play this week.
No, I know.
He may not even play next week. They're expecting him for week 7 against the Giants. Of course, that would fucking happen to the Giants. Yes, I think that this defense is going to be good in this game. Jalen Hurts has been playing very well, by the way. I think that's been a very underrated element of this whole offseason. So if there's anything that could happen, maybe Jalen Hurts goes off, but I think the Panthers are going to be good. I think they're going to take care of it.
This is my backup guarantee.
This is your back. Okay.
Yep.
I'll make note of that. All right. Next up,
the Tennessee Titans take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Tennessee coming off of a loss to the Jets. Will they lose to the top 2 seeds in the draft from last year 2 weeks in a row?
I don't. God, there's so much fucking train wreck material going on with the Jaguars. The Jaguars are the Texans. Let's be real. Like this is kind of what we thought the Texans were going to be through 4 weeks. This is going on pure disaster mode. I feel like with the locker room completely not on Urban Meyer's side, I don't see them winning a game this year right now. Barring some sort of miracle turnaround.
Yeah.
So I'm going Titans. I think they handily take care of the Jaguars.
I do think that Lawrence and his receivers have some potential against this horrid secondary.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I don't think the rest of anything is going to do anything. So I'm picking the Titans as well.
Yeah, I think they showed that they have a little bit of a spark to them, but I'm not there with the Jaguars.
And I'm a little bit wary about picking the Titans right now.
Yeah, I am too. I understand for your sake. You're feeling you have certain feelings at the moment that might prevent you from doing so. Next up, the New England Patriots at the Houston Texans. Speak of the devil. As we talked about, Patriots almost beat the Bucs, could not do it. Texans were just completely embarrassed by the Bills. This seems obvious, but what do you think?
I don't think the Texans stand a chance. This is not the case. So Tyrod Taylor has had a history of when he goes out in like week 2 or 3 with an injury that the rookie quarterback suddenly plays amazing. That's not what's happening here because the rest of the Texans is not a good team. So the Patriots are going to win this game.
I hope we get Tyrod back.
Me too. I feel so bad for him.
Because he played so well week 1, man.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of want him to get a chance, you know, an opportunity to actually like play some nice snaps here and there. But no, as long as he's out, the Texans aren't winning anything. So I'm going with the Patriots.
All right. Next up, the Chicago Bears take on the Las Vegas Raiders in Vegas. The number of times that I will watch the Raiders this year will probably more than I've ever watched the Raiders in my entire life.
They've really inserted themselves in everyone's faces.
They're just the ones that are on TV for some reason.
Yeah.
In Chicago. So, we're Justin Fields, now permanent starter for the Bears going here on out. Thanks for making a decision, Nagy. Will it be the right one?
Did that actually happen? I missed that.
Happened today. That happened today. Nagy said Fields is the starter from here on out.
Ah, thank God. Oh my God. I had no idea about that going into this podcast, so that's such a relief to hear.
God.
For your sake, especially.
Mm-hmm.
I great that Justin Fields is starting. I hope that it kind of keeps on growing and evolving. I think there's a chance that he could play well in this game. I don't want to just start bagging on the Raiders just because they lost against the Chargers. No. I think that this is still a decent team that's gonna keep on piling up the wins, and I think this is a good chance, a good bounce back game for them. So I'm going Raiders.
Absolutely, I think the Raiders are a really good team this year, and the Bears' offensive line is going to crumble to this middle of the road defense.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Cleveland Browns at Los Angeles Chargers. Ooh, juicy. Very, very nice matchup we have here between the Chargers and the Browns. Browns are playing very well, especially on defense, but the Chargers, they look like the cream of the crop of the AFC at the moment. What do you think is going to happen?
Exactly what you said is how I feel. I think that the Chargers right now, the best team in the AFC. I think that their offense is great. Their defense, really solid. I'm really enjoying Brandon Staley as head coach.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they're going to win this game.
Yeah, I've been trying to ride the Browns train because I do want to see them succeed and picking them every single week. I think that they are in a very good situation where if they lose this game, it's not going to be the end of the world for them. I'm going to go with the Chargers because I'm with you where I think the Chargers are just firing all cylinders. They're just at a very nice point of we're just going all out right now, and they're performing very, very well in these games. So even though I think it's gonna be tough against the Browns defense if the Browns are gonna keep on playing like they have the last few weeks, but I think the Chargers are gonna pull through on that.
All right, New York Giants take on the Dallas Cowboys. Giants coming off of their first win of the season, and the Cowboys trying to continue their winning streak. What do you think is going to happen?
I'm happy for the Giants, and happy that they got their win. Saquon Barkley is starting to look good a little bit. Daniel Jones, I mean, he's really not like I really thought he was going to be in like terrible quarterback territory. He's still playing relatively well. I still don't have a lot of faith in the rest of this team at the moment. I mean, like Kadarius Toney and I forget there's another wide receiver that's playing really well for the Giants right now, but they're having their moments. Like I think this offense is gonna be tough in some ways, but you can't pick against the Cowboys. The Cowboys are just doing really, really well, and I think they will do what they've always done with the Giants and beat their ass.
I agree. I think that the Cowboys are honestly one of the best teams, if not the best team in the NFC. Maybe not. Well, the Rams still exist, and the Cardinals exist,
exist.
But I think that they're up there in terms of the top tier teams right now.
No,
in spite of Mike McCarthy.
100%. Yeah. No, I think that needs to be hammered in. That.
Yep.
like Joe Judge is a better coach than Mike McCarthy by a
Correct.
slim margin maybe. Yeah, there you go. Next up, the San Francisco 49ers at the Arizona Cardinals. I guaranteed the Rams. I was not expecting the Cardinals to be the lone remaining undefeated team. Holy shit. They're there. They're 4-0. They're going against the 49ers. The Cardinals have played well against the 49ers in recent years. What do you think's going to happen?
Quarterback's going to be a little bit weird for the 49ers, and quarterback is not something that the Cardinals have to worry about because Kyler Murray is probably the best player in the league right now. I'm going to stick with the Cardinals.
Yeah, this was one of those games that I was like, maybe I could do a chaos here, but I'm sick and tired of picking against this Cardinals team. They're playing way too well. Like the defense, I was listening to Greg Rosenthal on the Around the NFL podcast. He was comparing this to back when Greg Williams was like considered like decent, maybe back with like and before Bountygate fucking happened. With the Saints, he had some of those Saints defenses that did not have like a shit ton of talent, but like was really hard to like play against. That's kind of what the Cardinals have right now, because they have like, they're not like super talented all around, but they still have the JJ Watt Chandler Jones combination. They have the young quarterbacks in the secondary. Like they're playing very well on defense for a team that has been very offensively focused over the last few years. And so yeah, I'm riding this Cardinals team right now. 4-0 on this one.
5-0.
5-0.
5-0. The Buffalo Bills take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs had a bit of a rough start compared to what you would expect from them. Is that going to continue against the Bills, who are a really good team?
I feel like I don't want to get off this Bills train. I know the Chiefs they could bounce back, and it's Patrick Mahomes, and anything could happen. And the Chiefs took care of the Bills last year in a big spot in the AFC Championship. I feel like the Bills are playing so well right now, and I think this is their best opportunity to get a Chiefs team that not necessarily is playing middle of the road, but is literally middle of the road with a 2-2 record. I feel like you could really get a nice knockout punch right now. I'm going to go with the Bills. I really like this team. I think they can do this.
God, I feel like we should disagree on at least one fucking game this week, but I was also going to pick the Bills.
We disagreed on Jets and Falcons, if that makes you feel
That's
better.
right. Okay, there we go. That's one. That's one difference.
If we get one, that's okay. It's all good.
Because if we pick the same ones and we have the same cast, then what the fuck is...
What's the point, right?
What's the point?
But you're going with the Bills?
I'm going with the Bills. I want to, as you said, I want to ride the Bills train too. I would lean Chiefs maybe otherwise, because they're in Arrowhead. If the Chiefs are 3-1, I would lean Chiefs, but I think that the Chiefs have weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the Bills will be able to capitalize on that. I hope they can, because I want the Bills to prove that they're the best one of the best the AFC has to offer.
The Chiefs might be like the best offense on the field on Sunday, but their defense has not been playing well, and I feel like this Bills offense has the ability to fire on all cylinders. I really like this team on like to really score some points on them. It could be a shootout if the Bills defense gets exposed on Sunday, but I also feel like the Bills defense has been suffocating for teams. So, I'm leaning towards Bills. Last but not least, the Monday Night Football game, the Colts at the Ravens. Not a great Monday Night Football matchup.
No,
not really.
Probably won't be.
But the Ravens took care of the Broncos on Sunday. Colts took care of the Dolphins. Both teams feeling good after this week. What do you think is going to happen?
I still feel strongly about the Ravens. They need to compete. They need to do well. I don't trust this Colts team very much. Ravens it is.
Yeah, it will be just one game that we disagreed on this week.
Yep.
I'm also going Ravens. Because I can't, like, this was another one that was like, can I chaos the Colts? I have no faith in this Colts team. I do think that Frank Reich is a good coach. I will stand by that. But just with the current circumstances that the Colts are in, it is just hard for me to like really be like, oh man, like watch out for this Colts team. Like they need to win a game like this for me to feel like, okay, they're getting there. When they beat up on a Dolphins team that is kind of, no pun intended, dead in the water, like. It kind of it doesn't really like sparkle like this. Oh my God, the Colts are back.
Right.
So I need to see them win this game. But the Ravens are my pick.
Ravens are my pick as well, which I already said.
You are relieved of your sock duties, my friend.
All right, I'm gonna take them off. Do you want to FaceTime and get to watch?
No. You could. I trust that you're taking them off because this has been a torturous experience for you.
All right. They're coming off. They're easier to take off than they were to put on.
I would imagine. Imagine as much.
One sock is off.
Okay.
My foot doesn't feel as wet as I thought it would.
That's interesting. Did it absorb the water?
No, or maybe I'm just used to it. Like
maybe
you don't feel wet when you're underwater.
True.
So
Which is I hate that conversation so much. Because it breaks my brain, but I get it. Like I don't dispute it. It just breaks my brain.
Yeah. Okay. My feet don't look as, I guess, damaged as I thought they would. So that's good.
that is a good sign.
The socks are like. So my socks right now, like if I were, I didn't. Oh fucking hell! I accidentally stepped in the bowl and spilled some water.
Oh no! Oh no!
It's okay.
Oh no!
Almost got out of this unscathed. But like, if I were to have run my socks out before I put them on, that's about how wet they are right now.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like all the water kind of like fell out of them into the towel through the course of the 1 hour long podcast.
Fair enough. Well, I appreciate you sticking by your word on that, and pulling that off. That was a lot of fun. I'm glad that I'm sorry that you spilled water at the end there.
Yeah, it's okay.
Next episode, next week will be our another podcast. We'll recap week 5, predict week 6. But this Saturday, we got another VFL that is at least scheduled right now. We'll see if anything happens. Some weird shit's happening with Twitch, as you guys might have seen.
Yeah.
So there's a chance we might not stream on Twitch.
We could stream on the Teamcast Productions YouTube channel.
That is a good idea. I have to see how I could set that up. So we might end up streaming on YouTube. And if that happens, we'll make sure to kind of inform you. We'll send it over links and all that stuff.
Change your Twitch passwords.
Yes.
Enable 2-factor authentication.
Worst case scenario, on Saturday will be that we end up recording it on Saturday, and you guys will see everything on Sunday. That'll be worst case scenario if we can't get the YouTube streaming to work. But that's kind of where we're at right now, and at least until we get like the all clear on the Twitch situation, because they've not been very transparent on it as of when we're recording this, at least. Exciting stuff. A very tame week in terms of picks going into this week, but I'm still looking forward to all the games. Bills Chiefs is going to be very good. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh my god, so glad it's Sunday night.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one.
They're nailing these primetime matchups.
Oh yeah, no, it's well, I also think that the games this year have just been off the charts, like very close. All across the board, it's been a lot of fun. But with all that being said, thank you all so much for listening, and we will see you next week.
Good night and wet socks. Virtual Ball Boys has been brought to you by Team Chaos Productions. Find us on Twitter at Virtual Ball Boys and find more of our work at Team Chaos Pods.